Hi boys and girls, Mrs. Hanson here. So now we're going to get to work on some math. And I had to get some special things that we didn't have before because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to do this math lesson. I got some cubes. So we got our cubes. So for this, you guys are going to have to kind of watch me and work with me a little bit. You guys are going to do some guessing, but when we're doing our checking, I'm going to be using the cube. So you guys got to be paying attention. So we are going to need some materials before we start. You guys will need your My Math book. So make sure you have your My Math book. And we need a pencil. So in our, Lily left me this little bunny. Do you guys, anybody have these little hopping bunnies? Yeah, I bumped it and it started to go across the table. That's what that noise was. So that was fun. So in our book, we need to pull out 501 with 502 on the back, and then 503 and 504. So these were what the front of your pages that you'll need, and then this is the back of the pages. So you just need the two pages, 501 to 504 is what we're going to need. And I want you guys to, if you guys need to pause it real quick to get those, you guys can do that. And then when you get it, make sure you write your name right here on the top. And so let me read the directions and then we'll work together through this since I have the cube, but you guys get to do some of the stuff on your own. So it is asking us, we're going to just look at this paper for right now with the xylophones on the front. And it says problem solving. We're going to guess, check, and revise. So we get to make guesses. So it's kind of like how we have in science, how we were doing hypothesis. We're going to do that with math. We're going to make guesses. And remember, our guesses don't have to be right. We're just trying to see with what we know and what we think to see what our best guess would be. So the directions are, we're going to compare the objects. So you guys can see right here that this xylophone and this xylophone are different sizes, correct? Okay, good. Then it says trace the circle around the object that is longer. So the bottom one, it already told us we are going to go around and trace that dotted line around our longer object, which is the bottom one. So everybody trace that bottom one right here. And that's our longer object. So that's what it's going to want us to do. We're always circling our longer object. Then it says, guess how many cubes long the longer object is. So on our paper, we could see that our shorter xylophone is 1, 2, 3, I'm counting wrong, 1, 2, 3 cubes long. So now just looking at it, how long do you think the bottom xylophone is? So we are going to make a guess. How long do you think it is? I am going to guess, kind of tells us the answer at the bottom, but I'm going to guess that it is 6. So you can write whatever you guess or whatever you think here on the line. So Mrs. Hanson wrote her number 6 over here for my guess. And then it says, use the cubes to check. So now it wants us to use the cubes to check. So we know it's at least 3 because right here we can tell that we have 3 cubes. So we know that it's at least 3 cubes long, right? So now let's add 1 to see if that's how long our bottom xylophone is. I hope you guys can see that kind of. This is not easy, eh? So we can see that we still need to add more cubes because 4 cubes is not enough. So I'm going to add 1 more cube to see if 5 cubes will be enough. And so you guys can see that our xylophone is 5 cubes long. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubes. So on the bottom, it says trace the cubes. So these cubes right here, all we're doing is tracing them. So take your time, go around each line and trace those cubes. So that tells us that our actual answer was 5 cubes. Did you guys guess 5 cubes? Mrs. Hanson didn't guess 5 cubes. But I know a lot of my kindergartners are super smart out there. So I hope you guys guessed 5 cubes. And if you didn't, you guessed 4, if you guessed 6, if you guessed 25, it's just a guess and it doesn't have to be right, and that's okay. So Mrs. Hanson traced for 5 cubes, so you guys can do that. And then the last thing it says, trace the number. So right after our 6 on that next line, we have our number 5. So I traced my 5. So you can see I traced my circle around the bigger one. I traced all 5 cubes right here. I have my guess, which was 6, and I have my check, which was my actual answer, because the actual bigger xylophone is 5 cubes, not 6. So I have 5 right there. So now let's do that on the back. So we have 2 slinkies. We have this smaller, or this slinky, and then this slinky. So this slinky up here, it's showing us it is 3 cubes long. So our first directions are circle the object that is longer. So I want you guys to circle either this slinky or this slinky. And then whatever one is longer. And then what we're going to do, we're going to guess how many cubes long the longer object is. So if you guys circled this bottom slinky, you guys are right, because our bottom slinky is longer than the top slinky. So Mrs. Hanson's circling that. And it says, how many cubes long do we think it is? So I'm looking, I see that the smaller slinky is 3 cubes. So I'm going to guess that it's 5 cubes. So I'm going to write my guess right on the line. If you want to guess something different, do that. You guys don't have to guess the same thing as Mrs. Hanson. Mrs. Hanson, I know this is surprising, Mrs. Hanson isn't always right. So I wrote my number 5 right there on my guess, and you can write whatever number you think. If you think it's less than 5 or more than 5, write that number there. Now we are going to check. So let's check to see. So we know it's 3, right? So we have our 3 cubes. Let's add 1 cube to see if our slinky is 4, or if our bottom slinky is 4 cubes. Mrs. Hanson's going to have trouble with this one. And we still have some extra slinky down there. So let's add 1 more to see if it's 5. And we still have more slinky down there. So we need to add more. So Mrs. Hanson's guess wasn't right. Did you guys guess 4? Or did you guys guess 5? Let's see. 6. I'm going to add another cube. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cubes. And ding, 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 ding. We got a winner, winner, winner. So we can see, oh, I'm going to move this again. Our slinky, oh my goodness, I keep moving it the wrong way. Mrs. Hanson is not that good at this, so I'm sure you guys are all laughing at me. So we have our slinky is 6 cubes long. So since our slinky is 6 cubes long, we are not going to try to draw cubes because it's just not going to be the same, because it says to trace the cubes, but we're not going to worry about that. All I want you to do, right next to your guess, I want you to write the actual answer on the line that says check. So right here, you have your guess, which can be different than Mrs. Hanson's, but then I want your actual answer right here, which is what our actual slinky is, which is 6 cubes long. Okay, so we have our guess and then our actual answer right there. Our next one we are going to do is with the little wiener dogs. So you guys get this page out, and then we're going to do this one together, which is really funny for Mrs. Hanson to try to line up the cubes on there now, isn't it? So we have our top wiener dog and our bottom wiener dog. So our first direction is to circle the one that is longer. So which one do you guys think is longer? Circle that one. I'm going to give you guys a second. And then we are going to see, it says, then guess how many cubes long the longer object is. So if you guys circle the bottom dog, because that one is the longer one, then you guys are right. So it says we're going to guess how long our longer dog is. So the bottom dog, we see that the top dog is 3, but that bottom one isn't that much longer. My guess is going to be 4. So I want you guys to guess how long you think that bottom longer dog is, and then write your number on the guess line. So this first line is your guess. Doesn't have to be 4. If you guys think it's longer than 4, you guys can write that, or if you guys guess the same as Mrs. Hanson, you can write that there too. So we know that we have 3 for our shorter one. So let's add one more to see. And look, that whole little dog is covered up. So Mrs. Hanson can never move it the right way. So our longer dog is 4 cubes long. So yay, we guessed right. So we are going to write our number 4 right there for our answer next to our guess. So we have our guess, and then we have our check, which is our answer. So both of them are right. So we got that one right. So very last one for this one, we're going to do the back with our airplanes. Look at those airplanes. So first, I want you to circle the airplane that is the longest. Showing it to you guys quick. I hope you guys pick that bottom one. That one is a long one too. So everybody should have circled the bottom airplane. So now we know that our top airplane, which is our shorter airplane, is only 3 cubes. So we are going to make a guess on how long we think that airplane is. I am going to guess 8 cubes. I think that airplane looks pretty long. So I'm going to write my number 8 on my guess line. Remember, if you don't think it's 8 cubes, you can write whatever number you want. But Mrs. Hanson's writing number 8. Now we're going to check. I have my 3 cubes. I'm going to add another cube. Let's see, do we have room? Oh, yes, we do. So our longer airplane is definitely longer than 4 cubes. So now I'm going to add another. Oh, look, Mrs. Hanson might have figured it out, how to be a little bit more together. Not 5 cubes. We still got more airplane left. Another one to see. We still got more airplane left. I think it's 7. And 7 cubes long. So Mrs. Hanson's guess was a little bit too big, but that's okay. Remember, guesses, they don't have to be right. So on our check line, you are going to write the number 7. So Mrs. Hanson has her guess, and then I have my check answer. So remember, for this, your guesses do not need to be the same as Mrs. Hanson's, but your check answer should be. So today we did this front page, back page, front page, and back page. So that's what we did for our math. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. I wish you guys had cubes so you guys could do it with me, because I'm sure it was a little boring watch Mrs. Hanson line up cubes. But at least we have cubes, huh? So I hope you guys learn some more about comparing and making guesses. And let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.